Good evening and welcome to the Ordinance Subcommittee. Today is Tuesday, June 27. Time, I'm assuming that it's 7 because I don't have the time in front of me, but it's the 7? 7:01? 09, okay. Okay. Members are present, my Vice Chair, Ana Levy, and Councilor Maria de la Cruz. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting of Ordinance Committee is being conducted both in person and via remote participation. A reminder that the persons who would like to listen to view this meeting while in progress may either attend in person at the location above or use any of the following assets locations: Facebook City Council page and YouTube City Council page. Can I get a motion to approve the minute of May 23rd, 2023?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Since we do not have anyone virtual, we don't have to go a roll call. I'm going to be taking a couple of items out of orders. And the first one is, can I get a motion to take document 21523 out of order?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made to take document 21523 out of order, has been properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 215-2023 is approval of 5-year contract with Colonial Power Group, Inc. as a vendor of municipal aggregation and has been put on the agenda by Anil Nepkal. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for taking me out of order. Madam Chair, I appreciate the opportunity. This is a contract that they want for 5 years because they have difficulties in creating this whole contract for just small time. They take this contract. We don't have to pay anything for them. They are the ones who actually are in charge of the program. They bring the whole CCA program to the city, and we will have the municipal aggregation that will reduce or stabilize the energy prices for at a time up to 3 years. This is a wonderful company. They have been, the broker has been approved by our Merrimack Valley Planning Commission. They have floated RFP about 5-6 years ago. This particular vendor was selected by them. We interviewed 3 different vendors. This vendor happens to be the best that we could choose from. Many of the mayor's advisors and senior staff members attended various meetings, interviewed the candidate, and we have chosen Colonial Power. They are also present as municipal aggregators for all surrounding communities: Haverhill, Methuen, Tewksbury, North Andover, Lowell, Billerica, Boston. So they are very well recognized. This is all they do. We have gone through thorough analysis. They are very open to work with the city, very flexible, and I think they are also very conversant with the demographics we have. So I think I would like to ask your support, ask to approve this particular motion. Thank you. If any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer.
Yes. Even though we know, we still need to get your name and address for the record.
Sure. I'm sorry about that. Apologize. Anil Navkal, 14 Rock Garden Road, Andover.
So for you is that you say that you need to have, with the vendor, 5-year contract, otherwise they're not gonna work.
Because they do all the outreach, they do everything, and they cannot do for small amount of time to get all the money that they invest in the program. They are very dedicated for longer program, and the contracts we sign with them will allow them to choose energy brokers for 3 years. Actually people who will sell the energy. And so they do the RFP for choosing the people. They bring all these energy suppliers to the city, and we get to choose based on their support. and their recommendation. We get to choose. If we don't like their recommendation, we can override it. But all that is really a prolonged period, happens over a period of time. Even if we select them today, it's going to take about a year for the whole application to go through DPU and the program to start happening to the city. To give you an example, Andover, I've helped Andover the same way. They are still waiting. That was 2.5 years. We are going to work very hard to bring the program earlier than that. So Andover could not even start the program for 2.5 years. They were just waiting. So just because we say 5 years, it still will be sort of not like will covering for the entire period. They will not be active because until the whole thing is approved by DPU, they can't even start doing all the marketing and everything. So that's why this is like starting now. We have an agreement for 5 years, and we can extend it for another 5 years if we like them.
And forgive me for my ignorance, but what would it be the benefit for the city of the constitution if we have to call and talk about this project?
Sorry.
What would it be the benefit for the citizens of the city?
Having this program, first thing is it will do the rate stabilization. For example, if we had this program, the energy spike that you saw, we wouldn't have had it, because anybody who wants to be part of the program would be the same stable price for 2 to 3 years based on how we signed the agreement. So the price stability is a very big thing, and it is almost everywhere you see, people are paying a lot less than what the price spike that we saw. So that's the energy stability is one. Second is that more likely we will be able to pay less for our electricity over a long period of time. And third but not least, we get to decide how we want to put the energy mix, what kind of energy we want. So we can bring a lot of energy efficiency program using this as a vehicle, because we have a citizen engagement using this program, and we can use that conduit to bring other related efforts to our patrons. It's a very excellent program. 145 communities have already gone through this, and they want it. I wish I could have come in front of you about a year ago with this. Just a lot of things happened, but Senator Powell pushed this, and I'm grateful that we have it now in front of you.
Thank you. Yeah, Councilor De La Cruz.
Madam. My concern is after 2 or 3 years, and you are not satisfied with the vendors, can you close the contract, or you have to continue with them?
The contract is not obligated for whole 5 years. If we find that we are not happy, the contract is written in such a way that we can say that we are canceling the contract. It's like have to have 5 years, but they'll want to have the assurance going into the program that at the starting point is 5 years, but we have options to get out of the program.
Any other question? Can I get a motion to send document 215-2023 with favorable recommendation?
So moved.
Second?
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you very much.
So we're going to continue taking items out of order. First item is document 236-23, motion to take it out of order.
So move?
Seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 236-23, celebrating Recovery Month, August 26, 2023, from 11 a.m. through 3 p.m. Escondido Park. It has been put on the agenda by Ana Javier.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the Ordinance Committee. My name is Ana Javier, and I have put this application forward because I actually have a nonprofit where we work with people that are struggling with addiction, and on September, it is Recovery Month, and we wanted to actually start up the month by celebrating recovery on that day. So this day will be dedicated so that people can testify and see what the changes that they have had in their lives, the changes that God has made in in them and be able to testify to the neighborhood that is around us. We also want to use it as like a family event. I know that park is barely used, it's beautiful, and I feel that that neighborhood can really use this type of information that we have to offer.
This is the first time that you're gonna do this type of event? This is the
No.
first year?
This is the first year I've actually thought about doing it in the for the recovery community, but I have done a lot of events in the different parks in the city before.
I know the councilor of the district, she might have any question. I know that, knowing you for a long time, I know how you like to do your things. I personally do not have any question for you, but Councilor De La Cruz, you have any question?
You know, I would like to say, Anna, thank you, because I have invited others to participate at that park. It has been a lot of no, because the park sometimes clean, but I would ask you to help out a little bit before the event. It's right, it is a beautiful park. It's in the back of the District A and very close to the river, and people throw trash around there. Then thank you for taking the initiative, but we're also going to ask DPW to help out. Thank you.
One question.
Councilor Levy.
Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do. But the Escarino Park belong to Lawrence Community Board, no?
It belongs to the city. They worked very hard a long time ago to create the park and to help out and to organize the park. But it's not their responsibility to keep it clean. It is the city.
Yes, Councilor Levy. The reason that she's in front of us is because it's a city property. But thank you for doing that, especially for the recovery, well needed in our community. So the paper seems to be in order. If there's no any objection, can I get a motion to send it with favorable recommendation?
Motion to send to the full council with favorable recommendation.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next. Anna, you know that you need to come back to our next city council meeting.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, July 5th.
Which one is two?
Wednesday, July 5th,
Okay.
2:39.
at 7 o'clock.
So
Thank you.
This time it's not gonna be a Tuesday, you do to July 4th, and it's gonna be on a Wednesday,
Sounds good.
okay? Thank you.
Wait, Anna. Yeah, she has the second letter.
Oh, she has another second? Okay, stay right there then. Can I get a motion to take document 23923 out of order?
So move.
Second,
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
aye.
The ayes have. What is it? Interfair Family Event, August 12, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. O'Connell Park, okay, Christian Church. So this is something, a different event.
Yes, so this event is, has to do with my local church, which is Ebenezer Christian Church. And what we are doing is, this is a project that was started by Amidal and the Interfaith Group, where the churches in the community are having different events to promote peace in our city. So we have decided, along with the youth, I've been working very closely with the youth. I know we have some representation here from my local church, and we are putting together an event for this day where we will, it's a youth recreational day, and, you know, we just named it Jóvenes Construyendo Puentes de Paz y Vida, which is youth building bridges of peace and life. And so we are asking for permission to use the O'Connell Park. There's a little typo there because at the beginning when I went into the program that is there for the city is really difficult. I have to say that so you guys can take a note of it. And they were asking for an address, which wouldn't take the address that that park is located in. So I did call Recreation Department, and they told me to put the address that was here, 200 Common Street. But we are looking to have this event. I'm not sure what kind of questions you had. I know we have asked to use a bouncy house, and I realize that we do need certification and insurance, and our church has it. As a matter of fact, I brought a copy with me today, so I'm not sure what else you.
To the recreation department?
I believe that's part of your package. The a copy, recreation department,
I did not give them this yet.
so we can make a copy, just record,
Okay,
okay?
sounds good.
So any other question? No?
We would like to say, Anna, we really appreciate your job because the community needs it so much, especially in this time of where the social issues are affecting so much. Thank you for taking your time. Thank you for dedicating all of these opportunities for people to follow and to listen. Thanks.
Thank you, Maria.
Okay, thank you. Again, I think that's your last item in the agenda, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so again, the motion to send it with favor recommendation.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Can I get a motion to take document, it's 181-22 out of table and out of order. 181, I believe is for 181-22 is the 5. So 181-22 out of table and out of order.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly
Second.
second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 181-22 is a resolution establishing a appropriate free extraction for utility company. It has been put on the agenda by Eddie Gregorio del Rosario. The floor is yours.
The third item on the front.
So
The third item on the front. Thank you, councilors.
you're only gonna get,
Third item on the front. Thank you, councilors. Chair, through you. This item has been sitting there for almost a year, and it's time that we actually charge the appropriate fee to the utility companies that come and impose the polls. They only been paying $100, but the city to publish and do the public hearings and all that stuff, it's cost us like $700. So the actually language should be somewhere in your package. You might don't find it, but it's there. It's already prepared by the city clerk and the attorney. It's already done. So if you guys please bring this up to the full council, I'll promise you, you will have the whole package and the whole language, and everything should be there for approval. And it's time that we should stop paying for them. They should at least cover what the real cost is.
agree with you. So I am very familiar with the topic. I know
Yes.
that we had been back and forth, and you know that I am in favor. So I do not have any question. Any question? No?
No, you said that you're going to bring the package that day?
It should be there. I will ask the clerk to bring it up, because we actually sit down with the city attorney and the clerk to prepare the languages, or the language, and it's already, that's why I'm here, because I thought it was already in the package where you guys could read it, but it's already done, so.
Okay. So
Motion
he's
to
gonna,
approve?
yeah, so he's gonna make sure that we're gonna be sending with favorable recommendation pending any documentation that we might missing in our package, and he's gonna make sure that we're gonna have by our next city council meeting.
Yes, ladies.
Is that fair?
Yes.
So motion has been made,
So move.
Second.
properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
21923.
What is that? Oh,
21923,
El otro.
right on the front.
219, can I get a motion to take document 21923
So
out of
moved.
order?
Second.
Has been made properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 21923 is a Starbucks school parking area signature and enforcement for restricting resident access. Again, it has been put on the agenda by Agni Diaz and Councilor Eddie Gregory del Rosario.
Once again, thank you. This item was brought up to me by the actual principal of the school. They're very concerned with the parking that is across the street. They know that at the night, it becomes a community parking, and they don't want that to change, but they might want it restricted by putting it as a resident parking only. It's a lot of trash, it's all kinds of stuff. Yesterday, when they went clean up, it was 2 marijuana trees actually planted in there. There's no signage. If we actually approve a resident parking only, only people with registration on Alder, Juniper, and Walnut might be able to spend the night at that parking lot, and the teachers and the principal think the people that park there, they actually park there, they use the parking are not the one doing the trash and all the stuff, other people not from the area, so that's why they want to restrict to just resident parking only. I know we have done it in some other schools, I don't know which one, so she told me that, but I think that will bring in and alleviate the extra work for the DPW, the extra work for the teachers, and also I was talking to security at the school, and they will provide some cameras once we have all the signage posted and the restrictions in that parking lot.
Since this is a school parking, what we are gonna do is to send this item to DPW department and the city attorney.
It's city property, it's not, it doesn't belong to the school.
For the school,
Yeah.
right, but we just want to make
Yeah.
sure. And also to table the document until we receive that, report,
Not a problem.
okay? Motion, Maria, you got that one? Table, send it to DPW and also to the city attorney.
So
I
moved.
have a question, madam, before
yes.
deciding. To school, I'm very concerned that people who are parking there, they're not the people that live in the community. That's why the trash is. Can we send this to the full council pending the documents?
We can do that, of
Yes.
course, yeah, we can do that. We can, send it pending that report from the DPW and also for the city attorney.
That's my amendment.
And we don't have, we have to withdraw the first
I
motion.
have to, I'm gonna withdraw, that's the
Yep.
first one.
So the motion now is gonna be to send it with,
Favor recommendation,
favorable recommendation
pending
pending
documents.
from the city attorney and the DPW,
Yes.
okay?
Thank you very much, Maria.
So moved.
So motion has been made, properly second. If they send the report, we will still have to be sending to a public hearing. So it's gonna go to a public hearing.
Yep.
Yep, with the public hearing. So motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you. That's all? My 3. Okay, can I get a motion to take document 23823 out of order? 23823.
Yes.
So motion to take it out of order.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. 23823, Salsa en el Barrio, August 6, 2023, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. at Manchester Park, Elvin Laura and Utopia Dancing Company. Good evening, sir. Name and address for your record.
Good evening. My name is Elvis Laura. My address is 29 Drake Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts, zip code 01843. Like I said, my name is Elvis Laura. I'm a proud Lawrence resident, Lawrence Public School alumni, and business owner. I am here today to represent and to provide details on the permit application and proposed event for August 6, 2023, from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., called Salsa en el Pueblo at Manchester Street Park. Salsa en el Pueblo is organized by Utopia Dance Company. The event will run from 3 to 6 p.m. From 3:15 to 4 p.m., there will be a salsa class taught by renowned professional salsa dancer and Lawrence resident, Luis Casiano. From 4 to 4:30, we will be having social dancing where attendees can practice those dance moves that they learned. From 4:30 to 5, we will have 3 to 4 dance performances, including our youth, who we allow to do a free program called the Summer Cultural Dance Camp through Utopia Dance Company, so they'll be able to present that as well at that event. And from 5 to 6, we'll continue playing different Latin rhythms like salsa, bachata, merengue for social dancing, and we'll wrap up the event at 6 p.m. So this event will be to unite and uplift the community together through Latin rhythms, culture, and dance. This event is organized in efforts to celebrate cultural vitality in Lawrence, movement, showcase art, and influence residents to socialize, especially post-COVID, while encouraging physical activity. We are expecting approximately 90 attendees, and thanks to the Lawrence Cultural Council, we have been able to make the pilot year of this event free for all attendees, including you all. So we have notified nearby businesses, and they are in full support of the event, including parking, bathroom, and electricity. We will provide an ASL translator to make sure that everyone who shows up with abilities has the opportunity to take full advantage of the event. And we will also have a first aid station, and once the permit is approved, we will be talking to public safety to make sure that the event is as safe as possible for all those who will be attending. So I ask for your support for this request.
Thank you. Just put it in my calendar. I wish I can Liza and Jonathan was laughing at it because they want to be part of the attendee. I know I am going to be.
Yay.
Liza is going. Jonathan is saying, I don't know the district council if he's going to be part of it, but we definitely going to be there. Yeah,
Most
it's
definitely,
salsa,
yeah,
it's salsa. You know how many people wish.
I'm gonna be there.
So I'll make sure that, yeah, but thank you for doing this.
Of course.
We definitely need to have more events like this in our city. So that's gonna be taking a lot of, youth and people out of the street, and just to kind of be accommodating the fact that you're gonna be having a plan set up, because, we don't know. We wish you the best, but we have to kind of measure all the precaution
Most
to
definitely.
make sure that we are gonna be okay. Councilor De La Cruz, you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Lora, thank you. Thank you for doing this event. Mr. Lora, I think you need more than 3 to 6 hours because you need plan to prepare before, and you need plans after, because on the parks, we always need the garbage to be collected, to be put in black bags. That way DPW can do their work. Then can we allow him to get more time?
If
For
he
prepare?
needs more time to set up and wrap up, I don't think, it's gonna be any problem, only because this is not one of the common park that people are requesting to use. So I'm sure that he's gonna be on the safe side, and he can use the time that he might feel just to kind of set up and wrap, make sure that you leave the park in the better condition than how you're gonna find it.
Most definitely. So for the event, it is going to be from 3 to 6. I'm not sure, but in the application, I believe it does indicate like if we need time to prepare and then time to clean up. So we will be using an hour before and an hour after to make sure that we prepare with timing and that we throw out all those trash and make sure that we put in black trash bags as well.
Motion
Thank
to
you.
send document 23823 with favorable recommendation.
So move.
Second?
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. You do need to come back to our next city council meeting,
Okay.
which I believe is going to be July 5th.
Yes, Wednesday, 6 p.m., correct?
7,
7
same
p.m.
time, same channel, same everything. Can I get a motion to take document 240-2023 out of order?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 24023 is the annual community resource fair, September 9, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Campanon Common. and Liza Sternge, grade Lawrence Community Action. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Liza St. Ange, Project Management with Greater Lawrence Community Action Council. I am here to talk, to ask for permission to use the Campaign Common Park across the street for our annual Community Resource Fair. This is the 11th year that we do this. And it's, as you know, Greater Lawrence is a nonprofit organization, and we provide essential services to the community, including childcare, fuel assistance, WIC nutrition program, immigration, lead poisoning prevention, child abuse prevention, and English language lessons, amongst other things. And this is the day that we promote all of our services, but not only ours. We also invite other nonprofits that provide services to the community. The City of Lawrence is a big participant in this fair. We join Fire Department, the Lawrence Police Department, Inspection Services, the Office of Planning and Development participate in this fair. And it's just a great day it's a fun day to show the families and the individuals in the community what the community can offer them. So our event is September 9th from 11 to 2 p.m. We start setup from 7 a.m. because there's a lot of vendors that come and participate. It is a free event, and all the vendors, it's mostly nonprofit, and it's, as I said, is to show the community what services and resources are out there to help them out. So we do the cleanup, we do all the setup, and we partner with the city. Lawrence General Hospital provide an ambulance in case of emergency. We also have a nurse present. The Lawrence Police Department brings their ice cream truck and provides free ice cream to the community. We also need 2 days just in case of a rain. So the actual event is September 9th, but we also need a rain date of September 16th. If you can add that to the request.
Thank you. But thank you for putting this together. I do not have any questions, so any question? No?
Thank you, Liza.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Always a pleasure to see you. In motion to send it with favor recommendation.
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Have a great night.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have. So
People are waiting for that event.
you do need to come back for our next city council meeting. So next document out of order, 23723. Motion? Motion to take document 23723 out of
So
order.
move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Document 23723, Evangelist Saturdays from 6 to 7, July 15.
Yep.
August 19, September 9, October 14, November 11, from 1 through 3 p.m., and that is all going to be at Kennedy Park. Good evening. Name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name is Jan Nieves. I reside at 41 Chelmsford Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts, 01841. And I am a member of Missionary Church of Christ, and is located at 44 Holly Street, right around the corner from Kennedy Park. And we are requesting this time so that we can evangelize right by our church and provide a word of love, of hope, and provide the gospel of Jesus Christ. We will be out there our plan is to provide to the community a moment to reflect, a moment to have a prayer, and have a word of God. It will be a group of 10 members of the church, and we would just be using a speaker, and we'll be there from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. on these Saturdays that we have selected.
Counselor, any questions?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
It is the first time that you're doing this? Or
For this church, yes.
Okay.
I was a member at a different church, and we used to do it before.
Okay. Thank you.
Motion to send it with favorable recommendation?
So moved.
moved. Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. You do need to come back to our next city council meeting, which
July
is going to
5th.
be July 5th, 7 p.m.
All right, perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Next document out of order, 227, well. Any s-
Yes, I'm 198, 23, Rachel Pizzuto.
Oh, okay, yes, yeah, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to take document 19823 out of table and out of order?
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Document 19823, celebrating recovery, September 23rd, 2023, 3 p.m. from 8 p.m. Campanon Common, Rachel Pizzuto.
Hello, how are you?
Good, name and address for the record.
My name is Rachel Pizzuto, and I live in Peabody, Massachusetts. I'm in long-term recovery. I opened up a nonprofit business beginning when COVID started, struggling with all sorts of addictions. I became part of the TMF over here at the Buckley train station, so I donate my time every Wednesday doing the recovery piece, and I fell in love with the community. So every year that I've opened my business, I host an event to give back to the members. And I thought, what a beautiful event to have it here at the Commons, to do my pig roast that has old school games like bocce, badminton, have some music, and it's free for the community. Anybody's welcome to come, enjoy, learn about recovery, and just enjoy the park and just celebrate recovery. I've been doing this for a while. I usually have police detail with TMF. We will have the bus there, so if anything comes awry, we will have medical facility on board. Cleanup, as you know, we clean up the Buckley train station, so you'll have no problems there whatsoever. We have a great setup and cleanup crew. The time is not cement and stone, so if you want to do it 1 to 4, whatever, we're just happy to get together and just have something fun and just live a life, because being in addiction, it's so hard to go out and do things. You go to a restaurant and you know there's alcohol there on the menu. So doing something fun in recovery where people can gather and join together to give them something. Yes.
So that I have to say that if you're going loading any material, something in the park, you cannot leave your vehicle parked inside of the park.
No.
So loading whatever, and if you're gonna have a speaker, as you just mentioned, it needs to be toward to your group, and I'm
Yep.
gonna tell you why. So you didn't hear me saying that to all the park because they don't have the amount of residential area on that side, but on that, for whatever reason, we always get calls from that park,
Yep.
which is the main one, and, you know, people who are not interested in what you are doing, which I believe, you know, thank you for doing it, they don't want to hear it, and they start calling and complaining. So just, the
True.
speaker needs to be toward to your group. If you're gonna need to load anything, just go and park your vehicle outside.
Yes.
And thank you for putting this. I am going to be part of that as well.
Awesome. Wonderful. Wonderful.
Question? No question? Motion
Thank
to
you.
send it with favorable recommendation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. You do need to come back to our next city council.
July 5th, correct, at 7? Thank you,
And
ladies.
keep up doing what you're doing.
Thank you. Have a
And
good night.
congratulations for being long-term.
Thank you. Thank you.
Another document, 22723, out of order.
Second.
Made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. 22723 is a filling vacant position after 6 months. Vacant network supervisor Carlos Castillo, IT director. He's here yet? Okay. Oh, you are. Mr. Anello, you have any item on the agenda? Did I? Yeah.
Good evening, councilors.
Name and address, even though we know where you live and
This
we can.
name Carlos Castillo, IT Director for the City of Lawrence. Address 8 Greenwood Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts.
So tell us,
So I'm actually looking for permission to reopen that position, that network supervisor. The idea is to promote one of my employee who's been doing the job now for quite some time. And I want to be able to promote him as a network supervisor, so that will open up a vacancy so I can hire a new MIS technician.
so are we changing any part or portion of the ordinance that we have in place?
We're not
Mr.
changing.
Anello, can you? That has to be with money anyway, so you probably know that
The
answer.
position's already ordinanced. It just has been vacant for more than 6 months. It's been vacant for several years, that position. So because it's been vacant more than 6 months, we have to come back to the city council, get permission to post and fill that position.
Oh, okay.
So that's what we're
So
here
it-
tonight.
Okay, so what, we're not looking to change anything, we don't need to send anything to the city attorney?
No.
We don't need to send it for a public hearing because this is existing position?
Yep.
Correct.
Okay, I do not have a question, so no questions, then
Send it to the full
with favor or recommendation?
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Castillo.
Thank you.
So what is the item that Mr. Guzman is here, that you request the presence of the CAFO? What is the item? 210. Okay, can I get a motion to take document 210, 2023 from out of order and out of table items?
So
So
move.
move.
Motion has been made, properly seconds, all those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Resolution in support of Lawrence Public School financial audit by state auditor. Jonathan Guzman, Vice Chair of Lawrence School Committee. Mr. Guzman, twice in the same days.
Awesome. Thank you so much, councilors, for the opportunity. Jonathan Guzman, Vice Chair of the Lawrence School Committee. And what we have today, this particular item, is to get your support and a yes on this particular body. We request a verbal recommendation to the full council. We submitted documentation, all the documentation that we were able to gather from the communication from the SOA office, the state auditor's office, with the particular law and language that indicates the main law that says that you have to take a vote. The school committee has to take a vote, and the mayor has to agree in order for them to proceed and do an audit, a financial audit. Where we came about with a particular law, which was on Chapter 44, Municipal Finance, and where it indicates the audits of accounts and reports, and where there's information, and we provided you all this document, and where it indicates the piece of the particular city that must complete an audit. And each audit, because it's two big different departments, it's the city side, it's the school side. The school side will do, the regional school will do their own audit and give it to the Lawrence School Committee, the mayor, the city council, and the clerk, and this audit is then published for the public to see. It hasn't happened for years. We requested a particular, we requested this information And there's a couple orders. This is one, well, there's multiple orders in where the Secretary of State office, we requested, we did an appeal where we said to them, we requested this financial audit, which is a public record, and we were denied. We showed them what was given to us. They agree that it was not the audit. The first one was the actual city audits, which there's only one line that talks about Lawrence Public Schools, right? That's not an audit, that's just a number and a number. The second appeal that we did on that, you also have that order, and if you don't, I will resend this information. The other piece that we submitted after that we got, was the actual audits that your third company, the Power Sullivan LLC, does for the city, which is a third company that comes into the city side and does the audit. They themselves try to do audits on the school side, and on the letters that they sent out, the particular letters that they have specific language, and where they say, we are engaged to and do not perform an examination to the objective of which will be expression of an opinion on the end of year final report. Accordingly, we do not express such an opinion. Had we performed an additional procedures, other matters might have come to our attention that would have been reported to you. So when you look at the audits that particular organization did, they were unable to do the audits. They did a particular opinion report, and where they were able to find discrepancies in whatever information they were able to gather. Now, I don't know where they were able to gather that information, if it was directly from the city side, and where they were able to match that information, or if they were able to do it directly from the city.
I think I can explain some of this stuff, if I could.
No, yeah.
I don't want to interrupt his presentation, but just on the audit, I think I can explain the audit side of things. There are, Powers and Sullivan does a city audit, which includes the entire school department, so it's not a separate audit of the school. It is entire city audit. They audit the school just as much as the city. The report that he's talking about is, and the reason why it's not an examination, is it's an agreed upon procedures report on the end of year. The school has an end of year report that they have to file with the state. And the state requires CPA firms, when they audit the city, to take a look at that report and do some agreed upon procedures. They're not asking for an audit of that form, because an audit is an audit of the entity itself, which is what they already did. So this agreed upon procedures for this end of year report is what Powers and Sullivan has to opine on. And so since they're not engaged to do an audit of that form, they have this disclaimer saying we're not doing an examination of this form, we're doing agreed upon procedures that DESE asked us to take a look at, the Department of Education. And so they perform, there's a list of a document of compliance measures that the state wants Powers and Sullivan to go to the school department, and certain lines on the report, they're asked to substantiate how did those numbers get on the financial statement, what supports those numbers. And their agreed upon procedures are to test those records to make sure all the numbers on the report are backed up by the general ledger and actual transactions. So it's a little confusing. I'm a CPA, so I've issued many of these reports in my career. It's confusing for the layperson to see. We put these letters and opinion letters in front of these reports, and it looks like we don't do an examination, but we're required to say this isn't an examination of this particular report. But there's another audit report, the audit of the financial statements of the city of Lawrence, where Powers and Sullivan does do the examination, and that has all the proper language that we did the audit, everything was satisfied in the city of Lawrence. We don't have any findings, we don't have any any qualifications in our opinion letter. Mr. Sullivan will be here. He was going to be here last night with the Budget Finance Committee, but they switched their night to Wednesday. But it is in front of the City Council, the FY22, the new FY22 audit reports. So there'll be, Jim Powers will be here to present those reports to the full City Council in the next couple of meetings. But there are 4 reports that get issued every year by Powers and Sullivan: the financial audit of the city and school, there's a management letter, and there's a federal awards letter. They have to also do some procedures on all the federal funds that we receive. That's a separate report. And then the 4th report is the end of year school report. All of those reports are on the city's website. So I know when the school department asked me if they provided everything responsive to the FOIA request, and they did. I don't know what the Secretary of State said there's something else that they wanted us to provide, but we can't provide something that doesn't exist to the FOIA request. So they satisfied the FOIA request. All our audit reports are on the city's website. So anything other than that, we're not holding anything back. Everything's there. So I think there's just a misunderstanding where, yes, the audit report, there is no separate audit of a school system. It's the school department here in Lawrence is it's just a department of the city of Lawrence, just like the comptroller's office or the assessor's office. They're just a part of the city of Lawrence. So Powers and Sullivan audits all of those transactions. In particular, most of our federal grants come from the school. So they spend far more time auditing the school department transactions than the city transactions, because most of our federal money does come from the school department. So we get approximately 35 to 45 million a year in federal grants, and much of that is the school. I'd say 2/3 of that is probably school related. So Powers and Sullivan does an awful lot of work at the schools, more so than probably in the city itself. But anyway, they did audit the whole thing. I think there's a misunderstanding that there should be an audit of the school department. How would you do one? Because the school department isn't an entity on itself; it's just a department. So how could they do? They could do a similar to an agreed upon procedures report, which is kind of what the DESI report is. But they wouldn't be able to do an audit of the school department because it's not an entity. In other words, it doesn't have bank accounts and so forth as the city does. They audit all of our bank accounts or receivables and so forth. So I hope that explains. I don't think there's anything missing that the city can do on behalf of the school that isn't already done. And just the Chapter 44 references the old reference. Very early in my career, I was working in a municipality, and back then the state auditor's office was required to do all the audits of the municipalities. It was in the early 80s where the state auditor started outsourcing it to CPA firms instead because of staffing. They would only do an audit once every 3 years in every municipality. And so governmental expenditures became obviously quite large, and I think they recognized that geez, maybe we should get out of this auditing business and have the CPA firms do it. And that's really what, so there's still references to Chapter 44 where the state auditor is required to do an audit. But really what happens is, in practicality, all the municipalities, the state auditor doesn't audit municipalities anymore. The state auditor audits state departments and so forth, but they don't do municipal audits anymore. They got out of that business, I think, I'm going to say probably 82 or 81, somewhere around that time frame. But anyway, I think the state audit, if there's something they want the state auditor to look at, I suppose there's something that maybe the state auditor can do something on behalf of the school department. I'm not quite sure what their interest is, but the state auditor wouldn't do an audit of the city of Lawrence. So I hope that explains it. But I'm here to answer any questions.
So the whole time, right, I love that the CAFO was here to explain that piece, because one of the things that we're saying is that there should be an audit. And the CAFO mentioned that this is available, right? When you look at the city website, audit is not available, because that is the same information that we got in the first day that we did this particular request. The city audit that is done by this company doesn't have information, fully information, where you can go into your schools, into the administration, the federal funding that he's talking about, and you're able to see it. We were not provided that. Automatically, that is a failure of providing the public record request that we did, which we submitted to the Secretary of State, and they came in accordance with us and gave the order for them to provide that information with us. On top of that, let's go one and then you.
But what are they saying we're supposed to provide to you? Because I just explained that the audit report, you have the audit report. There isn't another audit report. Is that what you think?
So that our argument here, Chair and councilors, is that that's our argument right here. He mentioned it again and again that there's not, and he's saying it, I'm just putting out, that there's not an audit report and LPS, and where you're able to grab that information from.
You have it.
No, we don't. We submitted that, CAFL, to the Secretary of State, and the Secretary of State came back to us and said to LPS, you provide the information that they're requesting. We were clear, you have this letter. We're not lying. We have everything. We provide you. CAFL, I will submit you the letters.
Can you show him the letter that you say, so that way he has a better understanding? Can you share,
I have it on email. No, this is not the letter. This is the order. CAFL, let me show.
I think I did see the order. There's nothing in the order.
This one that we have here?
Yeah, I could take, I think I've seen.
That is not
Okay,
that one.
Maria is gonna give
CAFL,
that.
I think this is the,
These are the two orders.
yeah.
The main point here, because I think we're going around and stuff like that, is that we're asking the city council to say a yes for the auditor to do her job and come audit LPS on the financial audits. We are, CAFL,
You said, Mr.
That's my point. They can't do another audit. It's already been audited. I mean, I could.
They have that report. They have that report.
they don't have that report.
Councilors, you all have the report. It's posted on the city's website right now. Anybody can see it. I think there's a misunderstanding. That is the city audit. There's not a separate audit report for the school
Right.
department. I think,
I can, CAFL, if you want, well, respect, because as I let you speak, if you would like to have a meeting with me separately, as this discussion, clearly you were involved on them, you could always reach out to Jonathan Guzman at Lawrence K-12, the Vice Chair of the Lawrence Committee, to have this discussion before coming in here. We are requesting a simple thing. There's no harm in asking the state auditor, who we elected to protect the funding of our taxpayer, to come and do this. Again, if it was done, we have not been provided a CAFL. I can
Okay.
tell you that we have requested it. We have.
Mr. Guzman.
I am so
know,
appalled that
I
I'm
know.
getting
Listen,
stopped to talk.
no, I know how you get, I know how passionate you sound. But one thing that you just said, which I like it better, is to have a meeting with the CAFO, you one-on-one. You can set up the meeting for tomorrow. He just said it.
have no
So,
time.
and you can get that information that you need, and you can come back, and we're gonna, because when you place something in the agenda, this is my resisting on something. When you place something in the agenda, we definitely have to forward for the proper department, which the CAFO have to be the one who's have to provide all that information. He is telling you, he is inviting you in public that you can come back tomorrow, you sit with him one-on-one, and you can ask, and he can provide that information or the report that you can't find, because it's the city auditor, it's not the school. It has to be under that umbrella. So I think that have to be the best solution for us, because I know, and I get what you're trying to do, but,
Through the chair,
yeah.
again, we have requested this information. I wouldn't be in front of you.
it's clear, if I could, this is the letter from the
If the information,
you have it.
the CAFL, We requested the information again, and again, I'm gonna say it. We received documentation. We did. Yes. We received a city audit. When we opened it and we were looking for LPS information, it's in there was none. The documentation that we, the Lawrence School Committee, which is the same documentation that when we submitted every time you submit a public record request, if you believe your rights were not respected, you're able to do an appeal. And that appeal, you need to submit the supporting documentation. What we were submitted is exactly what we submit to the state. And we say, this is our public record request, this is what we were given, and these are our findings. The information on this particular reports do not provide us the full LPS report, financial report. Now, the CAFO has mentioned multiple times that they do some sort of report to DESI. And we have in conversation said, why are we not receiving them that? If that's the only thing that you have, then just give it to us, right? If it shows numbers, where the money's getting spent, where we moving money left and right, please provide us that information.
I think the school department, I think your request should be to the school department that you'd like to know, if I may, the city audit, which you all have a copy of, it's about 80 to 100 pages long. It's a lot of footnotes to the financials, but the numbers themselves, there's only 5 basic financial statements. There's a balance, well, it used to be called a balance sheet, it's a statement of financial position now, and that's a one-page document for the entire city. Also, there's a statement of expenditures, if you will, and if you'll see that their expenditures are broken out into general government, public safety, education for the school department, public works, and a few other line items like that. The audit report doesn't provide a detail of all the city departmental expenditures by like the assessor's office or the comptroller's office or the CAFO or DPW. They just have, they're rolling up the financials into a 1 or 2 page document that the public can understand. They don't provide all the details because obviously the city has all the details. We have, and we report to the city council, the school department reports to the LE board or the school committee. They should be providing financial statements the school department has financial records. And that would have all the reports on what do they spend by school, how much they spend in each school. They have all those records. It's not in the audit report, so it's not something that we can provide in a Freedom of Information request. The report doesn't exist as far as in the audit report, it's not encompassed there. So I think what you're asking for is not an audit report, you're asking for how did the school department expend their funds in the prior year. You could ask for a copy of the end of year report, you can get that from DESI or from the school department. So maybe you want the actual end of year report. Powers and Sullivan opines on the end of year report, but it's not in there. End of year report's a 100+ page document that the school department completes and sends into DESI. It's required to send it in every year. Has all sorts of financial information on there. It doesn't have expenditures by school, but has expenditures on the way DESI requires it to be reported. And all school systems in the Commonwealth fill out the same form. So that is available so maybe that's the FOIA request you should ask, is you'd like a copy of the end of year report itself, not just the auditor's opinion that we performed agreed upon procedures, and all the numbers on this report are backed up by by general ledgers and so forth, and the reports are accurately reported. That's the end of year report. That's the opinion that the Powers and Sullivan expresses. Just they performed some procedures to make sure the report was properly prepared. But in this letter here to the state, it does say, I think the office of, Galvin's office of the state, Secretary of State, they do say if they think there's a document that exists, the school department has to provide it. There is no separate audit of the school department to provide in a FOIA request. So that's what I asked the school department when they asked me about it. They said, no, you should respond to the Secretary of State that you can't provide a document that doesn't exist or a report that doesn't exist. There is no other audit report. Because the one audit of the city of Lawrence includes school and city. It is just the city of Lawrence, as I said. So I hope that explains a little bit.
Okay,
But
I
I can
think we
answer
got enough.
further.
I'm just gonna open for a question before you continue. Do you have any question, or we can do one or two
Thank
things?
you.
Because we had the full,
Yeah, you have a full
yeah.
agenda.
So, we can either two things. We can table until he meet with, the CAFO and explain, and he can go over to you the report and come back to us. Or we can send it with no recommendation, which is gonna be the same, and I recommend you to leave it here and meet with him. Yes.
By the time I meet with him, if this body, again, I understand what the CAF was saying. Information like this could have came from the COO of the Lawrence Public School System, and it never did. The last email that we got, because it was yet another order, and where they said, Odanis Hernandez said, no, we have nothing else to provide you, right? And at that piece, right, we are now in a 90-day appeal that we, in order, can push to do this. Where the state auditor comes in, there's no harm, if we're hiding something, unless we're hiding something, for a third state agency that we elected from here, right, from our community, Diana DeSoglio, to come in her team and audit and look at our reports and request whatever her team needs to see if we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. I don't see no harm with that, and that's what we're requesting her to do, is to come, talk to the CAFO, talk to the CEO, talk to the financial individual on LPS, and ask them what they need and do their process. Now, if the finding there is that we're in compliance and we're doing all we're doing, amazing. Everybody here can use that and go to our pueblo, our community, and say, look, it's not true that Lawrence Public Schools sent back $7 million and didn't spend it on our pueblo.
So, which is why and then we're gonna work from that, because I know and I understand what you try to do, but we also have to go in the right way. So we are gonna table until you meet with him. You can set up the meeting. He said in public that he wants to meet with you.
But
So-
the next meeting, I will be able to meet with him and
But
the
you can
full
go
council.
tomorrow. He's open tomorrow.
Well, I can't.
Okay, then
I
you
work,
give it.
right? It's not
So
my
what-
full-time job.
Question,
Yes, Councilor. De La-
question for you, Jonah. Don't you think, like you mentioned, Ms. DeSoglio, don't you think they will listen to her to bring Ms. DeSoglio to do the audit or to ask the questions that
No, she
are not
cannot
being answered to
intervene.
you?
The state auditor cannot intervene in none of these conversations until we give the order, the okay for her to begin. This is the actual language on the law. We need to approve, the three bodies here need to approve her and her team to intervene and have. So that's what I'm saying, that's why I'm going again and again. It doesn't matter what we talked about. It doesn't matter what LPS and me talk about, right? If we give the okay to them, they will come in, do an audit. It's not gonna cost the city money, right? I guess and you guys have this email communication when I sent you that, and where they said, we can do it, but we need the three bodies to say yes, right? This is the conversation that the vice chair of the Lawrence School Committee is having with the state auditor's office, based on our findings. If there's anything else that should have been addressed to us in a different way, it should have before we got here, because we tried. Matter of fact, there was even conversations and where I started this request through you, CAFO, and then it got moved to the Odanis because it's an LPS issue, right? And she takes care of those issues. So if there was something and would have been told to me, hey, Jonathan, this is not how the financial audits work, if what you're looking for is this document. But now more than ever, I truly believe that just to have a peace of mind that I want the auditor of our state to come in and look at our books, especially not the city side, even though it's an agency, but they do run their own finances. Am I wrong on that?
I don't think the state auditor would come in.
I guess it's up to her, right? Not to the CAFO, not to me.
Well, there's a couple things. I think that the reason, in other words, you're asking for them to do an audit. I think you're asking for the state auditor to do an audit, but the audit was already performed by a certified public independent certified public accounting firm. So the auditor would have to, the state auditor would have to question, geez, did they do a good audit? Powers and Sullivan does 70-plus audits in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. They're experts in their field. So I don't think the state auditor would, knowing that, would come in and waste her staff's time to redo work that was already done. So I think, that's why I think really what he's getting at is he's looking for information on the school department. And that should be the school department should be able to provide the end-of-year report or any types of internal documents that they prepare for their financial statements and share that with the school committee or any citizen. I mean, that's a FOIA request. You can have that information. Those documents, if they exist, just providing a copy within 10 days is easy enough to do. I think what's on this from the Secretary of State's office, he's asking for a audit of the school department, which doesn't a separate audit of the school department, which does not exist, so it can't be provided. So I think that's we shouldn't have to worry about the Secretary of State. So I think, maybe I can meet and explain some of this stuff to
Yes.
Mr. Guzman, and then maybe he can get information he's looking for from the school department, because he's looking for detailed information about how funds are spent in the city schools department, and that should be easy enough to prepare from the COO.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Caffo. So motion to table until you meet with him, and you can go and talk to him and Odanis, Hernandez, whoever needs to get involved and come back, and then we have no problem after we get the clear that he's getting the information that he needs. Motion to table. All those in favor?
Present.
Okay, motion carries 2-1. We have 3. Just set up a meeting.
Yeah, just contact me.
Thank you, Councilor.
Explain how I
Document 217, 218, 220, 223, 224, 225 as a block to table and send to the officer, 217 and 218 is going to Officer Cano and table. 220 go to Officer Cano, 23 Officer Cano, 24 and into 224, and the 25 is only gonna go to the city engineer. That has not to go to the police department. So, and also to table 217, 218, 220, 223, 224, and 225. You got all that, Maria? So the only one who's not going to Officer Cano is 225, and table all the document. So I know the Officer Cano is here, and he's gonna do his report. I saw him early. Can I get a motion to take document 16623 out of table and, out of table? I don't need to take it out of order.
So move.
Motion okay, has been properly second. All those in favor? Aye. The ayes have it. 16623 is one-way Bowen Street. Can I get a motion to send this document to the city engineer and also to retable the document?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. What else?
Can we take out, item document 14322?
Okay. Motion to take document 14322 out of table.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. 143 is a handicap parking at 8th Street, Dorca Cristofon and Maria de la Cruz. It has been referred to Officer Cano. I don't know if that's gonna be one of the report that he sent it up to, but,
Otherwise, I would like to send it back to him.
yeah, but, Officer Cano, can I get a motion to take 2 minutes or reset? To
So moved.
look at.
So-
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay. To get out of reset.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Officer Cano, good evening.
Good evening, councilors. Good evening. Nice to see all
Councilor
of
de
you.
la Cruz have to leave, so we have to kind of rush you in, but
And ask you for, document 14320.
Is it there? Let me see. Which one is that one, councilor? Which one?
start with your report, and then we go from there. Give me the item number for you to take it out of table.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Yes.
All right, so first one is 2325, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. 2523, 3423, 3523, 6823, 7023, 7123, 7223, 7323, 7423, 35422, 35522, 26922, and 27022, 35722. Counselor De La Cruz, are you referring to the East Union Street at Brook Street? Is that the one you're looking for?
No,
8A. Okay, so that one is not in this group. And I did go by, and I talked to her. Yeah, but I haven't put that together yet. Yeah, but it's in process.
Get a motion to take document 2523, 3423, 3523, 6823, 7023, 71, 72, 73, 74, 354, 22, 355, 22, 269, 22, 270, 22, and 357, 22, as a block and out of table.
So move.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
All set? Okay. Here we go. So the first one's going to be document 2523. It's a document that was requested by Mr. Daniel Mercedes for one handicap parking to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 94 Saratoga Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. The council passes the request. The sign should be placed at the following: from the northwest corner of Lawrence Street on Saratoga Street, traveling north to a point 140 feet up to 160 feet. That'll place the sign on the west side of the sidewalk in front of 94 Saratoga Street.
So
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Document number 3423. Request was made by Mr. Felipe Hidalgo for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 85 Willow Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following: from the northeast corner of Arlington Street on Willow Street, traveling north to a point 238 feet up to 258 feet. That places a sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 153 Willow Street.
A motion to send document 3423 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Next one is document 3523. It's a request made by Mrs. Maria Celestin for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of her residence located at 85 Willow Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. The council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northeast corner of Park Street on Willow Street, traveling north to a point 156 feet up to 176 feet. This places a sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 85 Willow Street.
Motion to send document 3523 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing.
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Next document, document 6823, is being requested by District Lead Councilor Stephanie Infante and at-large Councilor Ana Levy on behalf of constituent Ms. Fozia Benani Smiras of apartment 1 and Mrs. Candace Morrison of apartment 2. The request is for 2 handicap parking signs to be placed for 2 vehicles in front of their residence located at 9 Lenox Street. I do recommend for 1 sign to be granted, which will take up the frontage of the 2-family home. This property does have a small 1-vehicle private driveway. I will refer the matter to the city solicitor for a 2nd sign to be placed upon his review and recommendation. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: for the northwest corner of South Broadway on Lenox Street, traveling west to a point 170 feet to a point 190 feet. May I just interject for a second? The reason I did that was because the street has several apartment units, and there's a lot of vehicles on that street. Because they have 1 driveway, I think that they can utilize that effectively and then provide a space for either one of the parties that are more handicapped and don't have, they can use the front of the house, because if I put a secondary parking, handicap parking, it's going to reach to the next house. And I don't know if that's going to create an issue. And again, we're filling up with so many handicap parking, we really need to utilize the property space more than the street. So that's the reason why. And I referred part of this to the city solicitor to see what they recommend. If they say okay, then, and of course the council. So that's the reasoning. And that's all.
So motion to send it with favorable recommendation to order public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Yeah, just for 1, because they have a private park.
Next ordinance is 70, document 7023. Is requested by Mr. Juan Torres for 1 handicap parking sign to be placed for 1 vehicle in front of his residence located at 15 Burke Street. After speaking with the petitioner and explained to him that he really needs to use his driveway, he decided to withdraw the item. He has a driveway and will continue to utilize it accordingly. I did.
Okay, so can I get a motion to send document 7023 for favorable recommendation to withdraw?
So move.
Second.
Document number 7123 was a request made by Mrs. Rosa Castro for 1 handicap parking sign to be placed for 1 vehicle in front of her residence located at 111 Arlington Street. I do not recommend for this request to be granted. I am requesting this item to be tabled and forwarded to the city solicitor for his overview and recommendation. It should be noted that 111 Arlington Street is a corner lot where it intersects with Willow Street. There is ample driveway parking in the rear of the property from Willow Street, where it is fenced and measures 20 feet wide by 30 feet long. It also has access to the rear and side door of the multi-family dwelling. The measurement for handicap parking where the petitioner is requesting is next to the driveway where the side house entrance would be. And as far as for the measurements, it would be from the northeast corner of Arlington Street on Willow Street traveling north to a point 55 feet to a point 75 feet. And again, the reason why I don't recommend it is because the petition has enough room for 4 vehicle spaces, and what she explained to me is that she rented to the renters a parking space. And what I explained to her is she's the handicapped person. She comes before her renters, and it's important as a homeowner to make sure that she takes care of herself. She even has cameras facing the parking lot, and I think that she needs to take responsibility for making sure she's safe and not her tenants, as a handicapped individual or a disabled person. For that reason, I don't recommend it. I'd recommend it to the city solicitor. I'm sure she's going to petition and she's going to, argue the fact. So maybe, whatever the ordinance, the council deems appropriate. I'm not recommending it, but it's up to the council.
I know. People are not understanding that a handicap parking is not a private parking.
Right.
I think people are getting very confused, very confused, because you're going to have the parking space that is a handicap, and my neighbor can take that parking. Then I think when are going people to understand that this is not?
It's very hard because sometimes I understand that, you try to accommodate people, and I think that it's really important to help people understand a handicap placard or a license plate for an individual that's disabled is for them to be able to get to the medical appointments and to go shopping and being able to go to the grocery store and have accessibility immediately to those places that they really can't walk far. But as far as home, when you have a driveway and you have a space, you should be utilizing that as the person that's disabled. You come first, not your tenants. And that's something that I really try to hit home for them so they understand, because many times they're getting out on the street side. You can't react as an individual that's mobile, that's able to defend themselves in a situation. So it's really important for them to understand we have overabundance of vehicles, people, and we need to be safer than it is to have convenience. Safety is really important, especially for a person that's disabled.
Neighbors are fighting for the parking, their parking, because they solicited.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
So
moved.
move.
Second?
Aye.
Next document, 7223, is a request by District B Councilor Estela Reyes on behalf of her constituent Sandra Lucchesi for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of her residence located at 33 Buswell. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northwest corner of Trenton Street on Buswell Street, traveling west to a point 20 feet, up to a point 40 feet. This places a sign on the north side of the sidewalk in front of 33 Buswell Street.
Before I made the motion, I just want to share with you that I went to visit the site. She did have a private parking space, but it's in the back, which is very dangerous for mom to get access from the back and not for the front. So that is the reason, because it was a back and forth with Officer Cano, who didn't want to recommend it until we went to visit it, and she really needs it. So motion to send document 7223 with favor recommendation to order a public hearing.
So move.
Second?
Has
Aye.
Next document, 7323, requested by Mrs. Zenaida Santiago for the numerous residents in the multifamily home requesting resident parking only in front of 287 South Broadway. I contact District E Councilor Stephanie Infante. She advised me that the constituents were advised to reach out to the mayor's office for assistance. This area is located on a metered zone and would not be able to facilitate this request at this time. I took the liberty to advise Ms. Santiago of the same. She stated she would follow up and appreciated the time. I wish to have this item withdrawn. Withdraw.
So, can I get a motion to send 7323 with favorable recommendation to withdraw.
So, second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have.
Number 7423 is a request made by Mr. Juan Batista for one handicap parking sign to be placed for one vehicle in front of his residence located at 55 Greenwood Street. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the northeast corner of Essex Street on Greenwood Street, traveling north to a point 107 feet up to a point 127 feet. This places the sign on the east side of the sidewalk in front of 55 Greenwood Street. Just for the record, Mr. Batista is an amputee. He lives with his sister. The sister owns the home, and they have it's a duplex side by side, so they have one side, and I do recommend for the
Motion, document 7423 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
before, so, Secano, it's for two stop sign, two.
This is a handicap sign?
No, this
One.
is 74. This is-
Three,
7423.
Public hearing.
so moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have.
26922. Submitting this response request was made by at-large City Councilor Selena Reyes for one stop sign to be placed on Woodland Court at the intersection with Woodland Street. I do recommend for the request to be granted. If the council passes the request, a sign should be placed in the following location: from the northeast corner of Woodland Street on Woodland Court, traveling east to a point 10 feet. This places a sign at the north side of the sidewalk on Woodland Court for the approaching westbound traffic approaching the intersection of Woodland Street.
Motion to send document 26922 with favorable recommendation to order public
So
hearing.
Second.
Made properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes.
Next is the ordinance, document number 27022. I'm submitting this response and request, which was made by at-large City Council Selena Reyes for one stop sign to be placed on Dale Street at intersection with Woodland Court, facing southbound traffic on this small two-way street. I do recommend this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed in the following location: from the southwest corner of Alston Street on Dale Street, traveling south to a point 255 feet. This will allow for the stop sign to be placed on the west side of the sidewalk on Dale Street at intersection with Woodland Court for the approaching southbound traffic.
Can I get a motion to send document 27022 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing?
So move.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Next document is 35422. I'm submitting this request, which was made by at-large Councilor Selena Reyes for two stop signs to be placed on Newberry Street at intersection with Brook Street, facing southbound traffic at this one-way street. So this is Newberry Street at the intersection of Brook Street. The vehicles are always flying by LCW. They end up coming towards Brook Street, and they just continue going straight. So this will give two stop signs, one on each side of the street, slowing down traffic. I do recommend for this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign to be placed at the following: from the southeast corner of Brook Street on Newberry Street, traveling south to a point 39 feet, and then on the opposite side of the sidewalk Across the street is going to be southwest corner of Brook Street on Newberry Street, traveling south to a point 39 feet. So this will place 2 independent signs facing southbound traffic prior to the crosswalk. I consulted with the city engineer, and he was able to mark the exact location where he wanted the signs to be placed.
Motion to send document 35422 with favorable recommendation
So moved.
to order public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Document 35522 is being requested by Mrs. Maria Osario by way of District Councilor Gregory Del Rosario for 2 stop signs respectively on Elder Street at the intersection with Hampshire Street. I've been in contact with Councilor Gregory Del Rosario, who advised me that immediate action was taken by the engineering and DPW, where stop signs with lights were placed at this location satisfying the request. I recommend this request be withdrawn, because they did an incredible job after so many serious accidents there that it was impressive.
Okay. Motion to send 35522 for withdrawal.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it.
So I'm sure you could see that the numbers are large numbers, because it was basically trying to catch up with the year 2022. What I've been doing is I've been going back to about 2019 and trying to filter all the staggering little ordinances that we've kind of been missing over the years. So these are one of the last few for the 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022. And hopefully we're able to catch up with 2023. And so out of respect, Councilor De La Cruz, I've been trying to get to some of your ordinances as well, but I've been leaving the most recent to catch up with the past, because we've been kind of trailing. So the last one is going to be ordinance number 35722, which is being requested by at-large Councilor Selena Reyes for 2 stop signs to be placed on Knox Street at intersection with Berkeley Street facing eastbound traffic on this one-way street. I do recommend this request to be granted. If the council passes the request, the sign should be placed at the following location: from the northwest corner of Berkeley Street on Knox Street, traveling west to a point 12 feet, and then on the other side of Knox Street, from the southwest corner of Berkeley Street on Knox Street, traveling west to a point 12 feet. This will place 2 independent signs facing westbound traffic for the eastbound vehicular traffic. I'm sorry, independent signs for westbound, facing westbound for the eastbound traffic. So as you're coming down Knox Street, and you're going to intersect with Berkeley Street, you're going to have to stop, because the stop sign's going to say stop. Hopefully you stop.
Motion to send document 35722 with favorable recommendation to order public hearing.
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Okay, so no table item? None? Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion has been made, properly second. All those in favor? The ayes have it. Thank you, Councilor. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
Actually, this meeting went very well. I thought it was going to be longer.
Thank you for the pictures.
Okay, good.